Hey, good morning from the dojo. It's Magoo. I don't understand for the life of me with our political world and how popular and massive a sport politics has become and the money that's in the industry of politics, how no one really just ever accepts that it's a broken system. So, how do you make anything improve or work in a system you already say is broken? It's to me, I use the analogy of like going to a skateboard park. Okay, you take your boards and everyone's gonna go to the skateboard park. We're gonna do videos on skateboarding and we're gonna talk about wheels and we're gonna talk about jumps and we're gonna do this and that. And it's all a great plan. And we're chosen from the best of the skateboarding people to go to the skateboard park and to show our thing, display our wares, and explain our, make the world a better place for skateboarding. And then we get to the skate park and it's just completely demolished like an earthquake hit it. There's just cracks everywhere. The ground is broken. You can't roll 3 feet, and there's nothing. It's not playable. It's not a playable field. And that analogy is what I believe politics is now anyway. There's so much money in it. Citizens United is so overblown. The press is completely destroyed. And, this is the biggest lesson I can give to anybody. And I hope that people will just understand this. If Fox, and I'm not picking on one side or the other, they're both the same in this. And the one side did it a little first, and the other side is doing it worse now. So, but basically, if you're a Republican, and you're watching a Republican slanted station like Fox or whatever, you can embrace everything they say about your team. If they say good things about your team, embrace it, own it, enjoy it, like, rally behind it. But don't believe a single word they say about the other team, because everything they say about the other team is bullshit. It just is. It's the nature of the game now. It's what they have to do. They cannot ever give a Democrat a win. Never. And if they do anything bad, they have to amplify it. Now move to the blue side. If CNN or MSNBC is talking about Trump, shut it off. I know you hate Trump. I know you think they never lie. I know that you think they are sacrosanct and they would never lead you astray. You're wrong. I left journalism in 1984 for this very reason, and so did many others. It's not run by altruistic, journalistic minds and hearts anymore. It's complete money's pit, like everything else. And editors and advertisers run the show. They usurp whatever other program they have to cater to the people who pay the money. And who wouldn't? That's what you have to do. You want to keep your job. You want to keep the lights on. So does it help journalism? Does it breaking shit? Does it help us as a country? No, it's terrible. But so if CNN is talking about Democrats and they say lovely things and you're a Democrat, embrace it, enjoy it, join in, send them money, do whatever you got to do. But if CNN or MSNBC is talking about Trump, you're not getting good info. They're not digging deep enough, because all they hear is a bad thing. Yeah, you run with the bad thing. They hear a good thing, that doesn't get said. Squash it. Same as the other team. Bad thing, amplify it. Good thing, never heard of it. But how are you getting information? Because honestly, both sides do some bad things and some good things. A broken clock is right twice a day. Sometimes these clods step into things. I could say agree with a lot of bad things that Trump has done, but I can also find good things. And other people they get mad at me. The left, if I say Trump did anything good, they lose their minds. And I'm like, it is what it is. And if you say Biden did anything bad, they lose their minds. But it's like, you're not living in reality. And when I say it's a bubble, you get offended, you get mad. But it's like, what else do you call it? What do you want me to tell you? That you're living in a mind ghetto in your own prison? That Trump owns 7 condos in your head and a manufacturing facility and 3 casinos? And maybe it's time for you to clean out your real estate holdings and get Trump out of your head. He's been president 6 years. All this, he's inept, he's a this, he's a that. The only one I see inept right now is Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren in Congress, just sounding like complete psychotic ninny women. I don't understand it. And they don't even know what's going on in their own committees that they're supposed to head, because they're so busy fighting every perceived slight and whatever, that they don't read the white papers. They don't learn what's going on. They don't represent to their constituents or to Congress what the real picture is. And so they can't win. And if you can't win, you can't govern, you can't legislate, you can't make any change. So what are you doing? You don't have press that helps you win. You're getting money from people who don't help you win. They're actually hurt your credibility. And then you're going there and trying to sound like something you're not, or something that you don't even know enough about to really represent properly. You're not going to bring money back to your district. You're not going to stop the oligarchs. You're not going to stop the corporatocracy. You're not going to stop the Trumpy shit. You're not going to stop the election fraud and the gerrymandering. You're not going to stop any of it because your team's doing it too. So if you can't do, if you're, once you're busted, and you have no credibility. So now you got to reel it all back and get to a place of reality. And that's why Maine right now is a very interesting thing that's going on with Democrats. I like it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but that guy, what's his name? Peltner? I don't know exactly. I forgot. But the oyster farmer who was running against the perfect politician for 20, 30 years ago, to go against Susan Collins, who was a Republican. She's like 177 years old and probably and is running again. So I think this is for senator there, and it's a seat the Democrats could steal pretty easily. But this guy, he had like a Nazi-ish tattoo. He had crap in his history. He's not polished. He's a regular dude. Crushed the crap continuously out of this other candidate that was the perfect Washington type candidate. Her name is Mills, I believe. And she just conceded. She just left basically, and she cried that she couldn't get enough money together to beat him. No, she couldn't raise money because she can never get past 20% to his 65%, which is like nuts. Like when she got in, she probably thought she was going to crush this guy like nothing. And it's just, maybe the Democrats are getting MAGA-ish in their own way now and looking for people less based on this nonsensical, I never did anything bad in my history of my life. And now they're looking for people who get it, who work, who pay taxes, who do stuff. But I'll just tell you, these guys, Democrats get guys like this from time to time, and then they go to Congress and they just become like everybody else because they have to. That's how you have to play. You can't get any money out of Congress. You can't bring any projects back home unless you get into the committee and kiss the ass of the people in the committee and go through all the BS and go to these hearings and just and say stupid shit, scripted 4-minute nonsense, and then say, I'm reserving the rest of my time. But you don't get anywhere because the guys already got scripted questions with scripted answers. It's all a clown show down in Congress. That's why they have a 10% approval rating. So anyway, this guy is going to get the Democratic nomination, and he could possibly beat Collins unless all the money comes out to screw him, because it usually does. But the funny thing is, this is where I like it. This is twice now that the Democratic establishment came out to kill a more progressive, less establishment Democrat and failed. So the DNC is weaker and weaker. The problem is they could always be a Hillary Clinton with a bunch of money who comes along and takes over, like last time. What was her name? Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton. So Bernie, you still owe me $19 for giving my $19 to Hillary Clinton. I didn't donate to her. I donated to you. You gave it to her. So you both need a smack. And that's why I don't trust Democrats again. Even in 72, I was stumping for McGovern out there with my grandmother in the cold, giving out pamphlets for the guy who would lose to Nixon. And I think now, like, what a terrible candidate McGovern was, too. He didn't have a chance. Didn't have a fart and a breeze's chance of winning. But this is my family. They're lifelong. It's Democrats, socialists. So, and I've always been the punk rock guy, common sense libtardarian in the middle somewhere. It's like, but going back to that thing, like, what did Trump ever do good? I wholeheartedly love the way Trump screwed NATO. I just think it's a wonderful thing. I was waiting for years for it. I hope he does the UN too. Get them out of New York and tired of this bullshit. All these things that people get mad when we stop doing, but they want us to stop doing. You say you don't want us to be world police. Well, the UN is world police without an army. So who do you think's army it is? It's us always. We're always first in. And that's why the whole thing with Iran, every one of these countries is behind what we're doing with Iran because they all have to deal with the mullahs for oil. And they don't want to. They want to deal with, like, Putin is more rational to deal with for them for oil than the mullahs are. So, and the Strait of Hormuz is this obvious problematic bottleneck for everyone. The least us at this point, because we have our own sort of, we need refined fuel. We don't really need the crap that they have. We need refineries. So China has refineries. They need that stuff. So China's got to kick in, just like we made NATO. So all these countries are going to ultimately kick in. Take my word for it. Ultimately kick in and do more to protect the strait, or find some way to world police that area so oil flows. It won't be us. We'll get blamed. We'll probably sink a bundle of money in and probably put troops and equipment on top of it. But these other countries will finally have some skin in the game to protect their own interests. And they're doing all this now. I say this all the time. This stuff always happens in the spring and the summer because it has to be resolved before the winter comes. Because if you're holding oil or heating oil hostage in the winter, high prices are another thing. Inflation, that's different. That's going to happen. But if you kind of start embargoing or holding stuff hostage or blocking channels, it's war, like world war. I don't mean like, us beating up on Iran. Mostly this is about nukes too. And if you want to get into the nukes thing, since I know I'm going to get beat up for this, just look up North Korea. There was a point in time where we wanted to do to North Korea what we're doing to Iran now to keep them from developing nukes. And now, everybody kind of failed on it because they didn't want to follow through, and they were more dangerous actually than Iran is. And didn't have the kind of money Iran has. And China was kind of, conflicted, because China is conflicted because they're sort of capitalist and sort of communist at the same time, which is new. It's a new thing. We haven't figured that one out yet. And so South Korea, they kind of had to keep they gave them a little too much rope, a little too much leash, and now they're the ones who are most upset about it, most paying for it, because they're the ones closest. But pretty soon, North Korea is going to be able to blow up anyone they want. So that was a mistake, and that's the whole point. We don't want Iran able to blow up anyone they want, because one day they'll wake up and Allah will say blow somebody up, and they'll put shoe bombs on or fly into planes or do something else, because when Allah says to do the shit, they do it. And that's a problem. And hey, we have it out here too. We got people, Jesus tells people to blow up, buildings in Oklahoma too, and then they go ahead and do it and send bombs in the mail to our own people. So you got domestic terrorism, you got that terrorism. I could ramble on and on, because it's a broken game. It's a broken playing field. So when these pundits come in and say, well, the polls say this, polls are useless. People learn to lie to pollsters because it's fun. They hate the government. They hate our election system. They hate Congress. They hate what's going on. They like any opportunity to razz the system and give it a that's all it is. And so if a pollster comes to you and said, will you vote for Trump? And they go, no, I would never vote for that guy. Then they get in there, Trump. I watch the boat flotillas of boats with Trump banners, and those people were telling pollsters they would never vote for Trump because they were in a blue state, because they were on Long Island. And I was like, they're all voting for Trump. Are you insane? And it's exactly what happened. And then, I watched Steve Kornacki that night going, I don't know what happened. And it's like, it's 6 years later, and the Dems are still, what happened? He's inept. He made the hoo-ba-boo-dee-boo-boo-boo. It's like, do you have a candidate yet? Who's it going to be, Kamala Harris or Newsom? You really think they're going to win against this freaking money machine? You are crazy. You guys don't even have a platform anymore. I don't know what the Democrats are. You have 108 defectors. You got a bundle of Democratic socialists. You got a bunch of way out wing nuts who just, want to nuke Israel. The Democratic Party's all over the place. Republicans are all over too, but I've told you before, when they have their committee meetings, a guy bangs a gavel, they pick 3 topics, they all fall in line. Democrats, guy bangs a gavel, they have 14 different topics. The guy said, look, we need 3. We can't do 14 topics. I'm going to win that way. And they all walk out going, no, mine's most important. Trans and sports, yes. Shut the fuck up. Really? That's the most important with everything that's going on. That's the thing. And now they just lost again on ICE, the Democrats. You lost again on ICE because I told you, ICE is a scam on you. ICE has been deporting for 5, count them 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presidents now. Clinton, Obama, Bush 1, Bush 2, Biden. 6 actually, and Trump. So maybe Bush 1 wasn't, but Bush 2. That's who we use. And they used executive orders, just like Trump. Obama started that. Why? Because the racist Senate was cock blocking him on every turn. So he used a couple of executive orders when he had to. But now they all do it. So you can't say Trump bad for doing it when anyone in history can go back and say, yeah, he did. Trump can't start a war and go, well, Obama did it in Libya. So shut up. Just say Obama did it in Libya. It was sort of wrong. He did it now. It's sort of wrong, but you can't do that. Neither side can say anything good or bad about the other side. It's fucking retarded at this point. It's so mental. That's why it's like going to the skate park and trying to skate on this broken junk and then acting like nothing's happening. So Chris Solis or one of the Kornacki's going to do their report. And the polls say, that's what I hear. Because none of it makes sense. None of it is right. It's always wrong. It's been wrong for 5 elections in a row. So I don't understand how we even buy into this crap anymore. It's just an industry. And most of these guys who were wrong about Trump and wrong in the last times, they're all gone. They were fired. They lost their jobs one way or the other. Their agencies who were like, came up with all this bullshit, lost credibility, lost sponsorships, lost advertisers, and lost revenue. And one executive moves out, another comes in, clean slate, and you got a bunch of other wingnuts in there now. Didn't anybody notice? If you're a Democrat and you find that the Bulwark and all these Bush Republicans are your best spokespeople, your party's fucked. Okay? You should not have Republicans speaking for the Democrats as though they represent anyone just because you both hate Trump. It doesn't work. It didn't work. You need to rally your people around something good and positive and exciting. And anti-Trump doesn't do it because no one cares about that anymore. The playing field is broken. Every election is going to be 51-49, thereabouts. That's because it's a broken system. If we had 5 parties, you know what it should be? The winner should have 33%. Second should be like 20%. Third should be like 10%. Then it's like 5, 4, 2, 2, 1. Whole bunch of candidates. Instead, it's 51-49, 51-49, 50. It's nonsense. That's a broken system. There's nothing in the country that everybody basically feels 51-49 about. Almost everything is bigger than it. War, 65-35 against. Abortion, 60-40 against. Basic stuff like that. Prayer in schools, moving up the other way. Was like 70-30 against, now it's 60-40 against. So I'm just saying, it morphs, it moves. And there's no reason we can't go a little more conservative if we want to as a group, but not being divided by these 2 imbecile power structures to just turn us into moronic jelly who can't govern ourselves. And then we go, In 1979, all the punk rockers were out screaming that if Reagan is elected, the rich will get richer, they'll be trickled down forever, we'll be in perpetual war and defense spending will go mental, and we're going to lose Medicaid and rights and all kinds of benefits. Has none of that happened? Even with the Democrats winning 3 or whatever of the last, numbers of regimes, all of that stuff stayed. We didn't get rid of one of those Reagan things, and it did exactly what it was supposed to. The rich are now way, way richer. The middle class has been more or less decimated. Manufacturing history. The East Coast money center. Now that money center went to Washington. So Washington's a big swamp, and it's not a swamp of mush and alligators. It's money, green money. That's why they call it a swamp. And there ain't one person down there from Trump to the lowliest janitor of a bowling alley who isn't in for some of that money. Period. That's why Virginia's blown up, Arlington blown up, all these places blown up into massive wealth accumulating monstrosities. They're all inside trading. They're all doing all kinds of shenanigans. It's a money vacuum. So, and that's why Texas is trying to start its own Wall Street now, because it's like, well, we got to suck some money away from the Northeast because it's just too much. And it's not just that. California, everybody's sort of coming into their own little fiefdoms because we're not a United States. So we're fighting over our own resources. We're fighting over our own people. We've got all this New York's going to have an exodus of tax people to other places, but when you look at it, New York gains 40,000, loses 45,000 or 50,000. It's overblown numbers because it's politics. The truth is they lose some because of these policies, but that's just sort of how stuff goes. Texas is picking up tons of people because no taxes, easier development. They also pollute the shit out of everything and destroy the land constantly. And eventually they're going to run out of opportunities to do that. Because you want to go mess with West Texas, fine, but no one's going to live there. There ain't going to be no jobs there. There's not going to be any business there. It's barren wasteland and it's not going to be hospitable. So, it's bad enough where we are now, there's running out of water and things like that. So when you let, corporations just run willy-nilly, like let Elon take over a beach, you don't get it back. And if you do get it back, you don't get it back in very good condition. Permian Basin is shot. So, these things, we play these duopoly games, but they're not looking out for us. And which means you're not looking out for yourself. I'm not looking out for myself if we're voting for either of these two sets of dipshits. And if you're listening to the news and you're following, you're not getting the good dope. If you're hearing your side speak, wonderful. Don't listen to your side talk about the other side. They're bullshitting you. If you hear your same thing on the other side. So if you want to learn something, listen to both sides and then pick and choose. Because then you get their truth and you get their truth and you see their bullshit and you see their bullshit. And you can weed out the bullshit and you can pull both truths. And then you got a whole little bundle of delicious truth. Isn't that good? Have a little coffee with it. Truth and coffee. Breakfast of champions. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day today. Yeah, whatever. I got it. I said it all. I've said it all. Peace. Love you.